Lil Durk, aka the voice of Chicago streets, once on fleek standing on top of the world, defying the odds and escaping a life that consumes so many gangsters. He wasn't just a survivor of Chicago's notorious South Side, he became a beacon of hope for those still caught in its dangerous grip of O-Block deadly violence. But now, as a federal indictment looms over his head, Durkio finds himself at a crossroads. The streets that once fueled his rise may now be pulling him back under, threatening to erase everything he's built. What happened to the man who swore he'd left the violence behind? And what led to the moment when the world's eyes turned to a Broward County jail, watching as one of hip-hop's biggest stars faces a potential life sentence? Insider sources are willing to give us the scoop of Lil Durk's thrilling rise and his dramatic fall from fame. Here is the question that haunts so many from the streets. Would Lil Durk be locked up forever? Lil Durk was no stranger to hardship. Growing up in the Chicago South Side trenches, where gunshots were a part of daily life, and making it to your 20 shells, she had your 21st birthday felt like a miracle. Durk used music as his escape. The gritty drill scene of Chicago became his outlet, a way to express the harsh realities he lived through. His early mixtapes were filled with stories of survival, loyalty, and pain. Tracks like I'm a Hitter gave a voice to voiceless gangsters, the ones who lived in the shadows of a violent city.
A lot trying to change but can't change. Ain't no way to, you know what I'm saying? So I hope I could be a platform for them.
But Durk wasn't just another drill rapper with a few viral songs. This young cat got charisma and work ethic, and those qualities set him apart. He built his own crew, OTF, or Only the Family, cementing himself as both a leader and a voice for his people. The streets knew who he was, and soon so did the music industry. Yet as Durk's fame grew, so did his legal troubles. His early career was peppered with run-ins with the law, gun charges, accusations of gang activity, and the constant threat of violence surrounding him. But through it all, Durkio persevered. His breakout moment came when he started collaborating with mainstream artists. Suddenly, Durk wasn't just the voice of Chicago's drill scene, he was a global star. In the years that followed, he seemed to leave his past behind.
Right now, everywhere I drive in New York, people have the windows rolled down and they're blasting All My Life through the streets of New York. It's pretty incredible. That must feel amazing.
His music shifted from the street anthems of survival to radio-friendly hits like Laugh Now, Cry Later with Drake and Broadway Girls with Morgan Wallen. His albums went gold and platinum, solidifying him as one of hip-hop's leading voices. But it wasn't just the music that seemed to change. Durk himself looked like a man reborn. In 2020, he launched the Neighborhood Heroes nonprofit, a move that showed he was serious about his role as a community leader. His mission? To end the violence in Chi-Town, even though he admitted it was a monumental task. And for a while, it seemed like he was succeeding. In an emotional tweet, he even celebrated having his criminal record wiped clean after years of legal battles. Behind the scenes, the pressure on Durk was mounting big time. The violent death of his dog and fellow OTF member, King Von, in 2020 hit him hard. Von was murked in an altercation with Quando Rondo's crew outside a hookah lounge in Atlanta, a moment that would become pivotal in Durk's current legal troubles. Fans were quick to demand vengeance. Slide for Von, they wrote on his social media, urging Durk to retaliate. It was the language of the streets, a culture of violence that insisted blood be repaid with blood. Durk, however, seemed to publicly reject that mindset. In interviews, he talked about focusing on peace, on being with family, and staying out of trouble. He even revealed that he had checked into rehab to deal with his addiction to Xanax and codeine, determined to get his life back on track.
See, my main goal is peace, you know what I'm saying? Being with the family and staying out of bullshit, you know what I'm saying? And getting 100% on my ding.
Did you write new music?
Yeah, I did.
Did you really?
I did.
But old habits die hard, and the streets never stop watching. Even as Durk spoke about peace, rumors began to swirl that he hadn't fully turned his back on the lifestyle that had made him famous. And then the bombshell dropped. Durk was facing federal charges linked to a murder-for-hire plot. The allegations were shocking. According to the indictment, Durk had ordered a hit on Quando Rondo, the man associated with King Von's death. The ambush left Rondo unharmed, but his dog, Lil Pay B, was murked in a brutal attack at a gas station.
the ending of a shooting that started in Los Angeles, California. Sheriff's deputies pulling out a man who had been shot in an SUV. Savannah rapper Quando Rondo, a passenger in that car, frantic at the sight.
Authorities claim they have damning evidence, text messages, wiretaps, and even snitches within Durk's own crew. One of the most devastating betrayals? An OTF member named Jam, someone Durk had helped and trusted, had allegedly been wearing a wire. The man Durk once gave money, a crib, a whip, and friendship had snitched on him, working with the feds to help bring down the very crew he was once part of.
Bro made sure he made a way for me to be straight, like he's saying good ass again, you know, like shit. Crib, car, all that.
As the hip-hop world reeled from the news, the reality of Durk's situation began to sink in. Despite his attempts to distance himself from the violence and chaos of his past, it seemed he could never fully escape. Even as he worked to change his image to become a role model for others, the streets were still pulling him back, and Durkio had left breadcrumbs along the way. Clues that looking back pointed to this inevitable path. Lyrics from his songs seemed to blur the line between art and reality. On the track, Who Want the Smoke? Breathe. Durk rapped, got it back in blood, y'all just don't know. That's how it's supposed to be. Prosecutors, these lyrics could be used as evidence of his involvement in the murder-for-hire plot. In hip-hop, where artistic expression often mirrors real-life struggles, the line between entertainment and confession can be dangerously thin. For many, it's difficult to comprehend how someone who seems so determined to change could be caught up in something so dark. But Durk's story is one that countless others from the streets have faced. The pull of loyalty, the weight of reputation, and the unspoken code of revenge. Durk once said he was chasing $1 billion, not death. He wanted a better life, not just for himself, but for his kids and his community. But as the trial approaches, it looks like that $1 billion dream might slip away. And with it, everything he's worked so hard to achieve. If the charges stick, Durk could spend the rest of his life in the pen, a heartbreaking end for a man who rose so high from such difficult beginnings. His story is now at a tipping point, and the world watches to see how it will end.